Good morning, beloveds. I don't know what that was. Sorry about that. Oh, let's hope this is not a sign of things to come. It is not. It is not. I just tried to breathe and swallow at the same time, and apparently I can't do that. So, oh my goodness. My alarm went off. I had no trouble getting up. I got to the gym, got this done, got my shower in, got my hair washed, and now I'm ready to do this. And then I get to go do the Sunday service. Yay! All right. Okay, so it is February 25th. The title is A Beloved Minister's Wisdom. And our author is Marguerite Lewis. And this is a memorial program. New Thought Spiritual Center of Eastern Long Island from April of 2008. Okay. A beloved minister's wisdom. It is done unto you as you believe. Right where the pain is, God is. Short prayers pierce heaven. Celebrate your epiphanies. God don't make no junk. Do not futurize your good. Clarify before you unify. Harmony is heaven's first law. That which I am seeking is seeking me. Act like a bouncer at the gate of your thoughts. Argue for your limitations, and that's what you'll get. The Spirit that has brought me this far will take me the rest of the way. Don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your God is. There is not a disease to be healed, but a perfect being to be revealed. We learn through inspiration or desperation. It is up to us. There is not something to do. There is something to know. Everything that comes to you comes to bless you. Do not ask for success and prepare for failure. God is always home. It is we who take a walk. Thought plus feeling equals demonstration. Well, a lot of those I've heard before. I mean, I grew up with the meme. It was always the little boy. It was generally a little boy. Sometimes it was a little girl with the hands folded up in prayer and the eyes closed, and God don't make no junk. Okay? Couple of those sounded like, a lot of them sounded like Ernest, which would make sense, right? Because it was from a memorial from a New Thought group. And then a couple of them sounded like Emma. So, but any one of those in there, it's like they could be mottos, they could be affirmations, they could be, you could put them in your treatments. They could also be like if you needed something to get you going in the morning, which like a motto is what I was thinking. And for whatever they're going for, whatever you're going through, then you can apply these. It is done unto you as you believe. That is like central tenet to New Thought. It's like what you believe is what you get. And sometimes I walk away from conversations with people and shaking my head because I'm like, you live in a really scary world. That's what you believe. You live in a really scary world. And I'm just like, I don't live in the scary world that you live in. And it's not that bad things don't happen. It's just that, I don't live, yeah. I think that right where the pain is, God is, like I need to tattoo that on my forehead. I need to tattoo that on my forehead. It's like, you know what? There's nowhere that God is not. And when I'm in the midst of the pain, I need to remember I'm not by myself. I'm not by myself. Which then that other one is there's not a disease to be healed, but a perfect being to be revealed. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Goswami. I took Dr. Goswami. His book is called The Quantum Doctor. If you haven't read it, it's very interesting. And that's what he talks about. He talks about the 5 bodies. He talks about the material body. And then he also talks about the bliss body. And the bliss body is God's idea of us. And God's idea of us is perfect. So it's like whenever there's something that's not working quite right, well, let's go back and take a look at the bliss body. You know, and then it does take time. Reverend Jesse was talking about why it takes time last week. So you can go watch that video if you want to see what he said about time. But it's like God's idea of this is perfect. We need to remember that. It's whole. And then where was that? Harmony is heaven's first law. If we are not in harmony, then we're not in heaven. But when we are in harmony, or we can also call it the flow. I've heard it called that. When we're in the flow, then that's when we're in heaven. You know, it's working for us. Don't futurize your good. Don't futurize your good. That's where we talk about when we do treatments, we talk about the now. We pray in the now, as if whatever good it is that we are seeking is already happening. Because, you know, tomorrow never comes. By the time tomorrow gets here, it's today. So, you know, don't futurize your good. Claim it now. Claim it in the now. Because it already exists. It may not exist in the seen realm, you know, and if we're treating for it, then it might not exist in our line of sight. It might, though. It might already exist in our line of sight. We are just unaware of it. And so when we do the treatment and we say now, then, you know, sometimes the scales fall from our eyes and suddenly we see, oh, there's the good. It's right there. It's been there all along. Isn't that what Dorothy said? If it's not my own backyard, then I never lost it in the first place. Right? Don't futurize your good. That which I am seeking is seeking me. I believe that's Rumi. It's like whatever you're looking for, it's looking for you. Sometimes what we need to do is stand still so that it can find us. And sometimes we need to get out. Like it's not going to come find you on your couch. But, you know, if you go and live your life, it'll find you. It'll find you. I'm sorry. Act like a bouncer at the gate of your thoughts. Act like a bouncer at the gate of your thoughts. I talk about weeding your garden. It is extraordinarily important in New Thought to pay attention to the trend of your thoughts, okay? We don't have to, like, watch each and every thought. It's a good idea, and clearly our author here, Marguerite, is telling us, act like a bouncer. When you see a thought sneaking in, and you're like, nope, we're not having that thought. We're not having that thought today. We're not having that thought ever. Act like a bank. You know, it's your head. So that's what another one that goes along with that is, you know, don't let people or ideas live rent free in your head. Raise the rent and kick them out. It's the same idea. It's the same idea. You spend more time in your head than anywhere else. Make it a nice place. Make it a nice place. That's why I like to talk about gardens. Growing up, my dad had the green thumb. Like, he could grow anything. And we had beautiful flower gardens. I remember having beautiful flower gardens growing up. I loved the irises. And one of the things that we did do was weed the garden. And so that's why it's such a metaphor for me. It's like, that's what I want in my head. I want my head to be that beautiful flower garden that I grew up with, you know, with my dad. But it takes work. It does take work. It wasn't hard work, but you still got to do it regularly, which is the point of spiritual practice, regular spiritual practice. you got to pull those weeds up. You got to pull the weeds up when you see them. So act like a bouncer at the gate of your thoughts. I hadn't heard it put that way, and I love it. Okay. Argue for your limitations, and that's what you'll get. Both Ernest and Emma say that. It's like, look, the only thing limiting you is you. And sometimes I'm going to acknowledge the race consciousness here. I'm also going to acknowledge social structures and things like that. Which is why we work to dismantle those. But the first limit you got to get over is yours. If you believe you can, then you can. And if you believe you can't, you can't. It's they talk about the honeybee. Aerodynamics, all of those engineers have looked at the honeybees and they're like, look, this creature should not fly. According to all of the laws that we know about aerodynamics and flight and what have you, this thing shouldn't fly. And yet it does. Fortunately, it doesn't know the laws of aerodynamics. So don't let what other people say limit you. Don't let yeah, been there. When I went to ministerial school, I was 3/4 of the way through ministerial school before I told most of my family. Because I remember growing up and saying, hey, I'm interested in this, and people saying, I can't imagine you doing that. Well, the good news is that they don't have to imagine me doing it, but I let them talk me out of it. Well, I can't imagine you doing that. I don't see you doing that. Well, they're not the ones who have to see me doing it. I have to see me doing it, but I let them talk me out of it. Okay? So don't let other people put limitations on yourself. And certainly take a look at the limitations you have put on yourself and maybe drop a few of them. All right. Everybody's heard, don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your God is. Well, the good news is God is infinite and our problems are finite. So, let's see. We learned through inspiration or desperation. Yeah, that one really got my attention. We learn through inspiration or desperation. It's up to us. I thrive on chaos a little bit. I have learned through desperation far more than I like to admit. And I'm not interested in doing that anymore. I am much, much more into the inspiration now. I will retain my desperation skills, probably, but I'm not intending to practice them anymore. There's always going to be that situation where, okay, you know what? So, and they're well honed. I'm going to put them in the back of my toolbox. I am now going to lean into the inspiration. Yep. Yeah. There's not something to do. There's something to know. What that reminds me of is, again, Dr. Goswami, who said, we are human beings, not human doings. And I'm going to remind you, it's okay to rest. Not only is it okay to rest, but it's extraordinarily important to rest. So, do not ask for success and prepare for failure. Yeah, okay, right? That goes back to that inspiration and desperation. We spend a lot of time thinking about what could go wrong. And I'm not saying don't, have contingency plans, but what this is telling us is, you know what? Think about all the things that could go right. Think about all the things that could go right. When you plan something, plan to have an amazing experience. And when little things go wrong, it's okay. Sometimes those little things that go wrong can just drastically change our path, and we end up somewhere where we weren't expecting, but somewhere equally amazing. So, honestly, in my humble opinion, the only time we truly fail is when we stop trying. So, don't plan to stop trying. All right. I didn't cover every one of them because there's so much and we don't have that kind of time. But God is always home. It is we who take the walk. I just want to touch that one simply based on the fact that it reminds me of the Ram Dass quote. You know, we're walking each other home. God is always home. It's just like prayer doesn't change the prayer. Prayer doesn't change God. It prays us. It brings us into alignment with God. That it's the same idea. It's like we have chosen to take this material walk. We have chosen to come into this material existence for whatever reason it is that we chose to have the experiences that we are having. And in the end, we're going to go back to that home, you know, but we will never knock at the door and it won't be answered. You know, that's never going to happen. When we knock at the door, the divine will always open that door. The divine will always be there. Just like when we pray. Oh, I remember the other one I really liked. Short prayers pierce heaven. Short prayers pierce heaven. I know wonderful people who love words. I love words. I read a lot. I know a lot of writers who love words. And they do long and beautiful poems. But short poems pierce heaven is a reminder that if you want to do a long and beautiful poem, you are absolutely welcome to, but you do not have to. You do not have to. So when we knock at that door, we can do it with a short rap, or we can do a long, complicated knock. It's up to us, right? Just like inspiration and desperation is up to us. But choose your words. Choose the words that mean something to you, and choose as many of them or as few of them as you need. But always remember, when you knock at that door, the divine will answer. Always. And the divine will always open that door. The answer you get, well, when we pray, I'm going to remind you to not limit yourself when you pray, okay? Allow the divine to surprise you. Allow the divine to surprise you. Sometimes when we pray, we have a pretty specific idea in mind, you know, and then the divine goes, yeah, but isn't this better? So, a beloved minister's wisdom. The other thing that it reminded me of, and this is just, it was just funny, when I graduated from ministerial school, there were 3 of us that were graduating. And it was me, Reverend Sherry, and Reverend Amani that graduated that year. There was a whole passel of practitioners, but it was just the 3 of us ministers. And so we got to introduce each other. And when Amani introduced me, what she said that I loved was that when she first saw me on camera with it's pretty tame today because it's still damp, my hair, she was like, oh, there's somebody that's got hair like me. And so she felt that sisterhood. And I was like, oh, I love that. But when I got to introduce Reverend Cherry, so Reverend Cherry has all of these sayings. One of my favorites was, I can organize a plate of spaghetti. The other one, she says, I'd rather know it and not need it than need it and not know it. Okay? So that's what that reminded me of, is I collected the Sherryisms. And that's what we called them, Sherryisms. All of those just really funny sayings that she said. And I used a few of them to introduce her. All of us have these things that we say that motivate us, that are our motto. What I would suggest to you, because I'm going to give you the mission for today, look at your mottos. Look at the little short punchy things that you say and decide Are they who you really are? Because these are little things that you say to yourself every day without even thinking about it. Maybe you need to change some of them. I just gave you a whole list of really good ones, including God don't make no junk. Okay? I grew up with that one, so I resonate with that one. Look at your motto. What is your motto? Mine is the mission for the day, which is the same mission every day. I just use different words. But in the end, the goal is to bring you closer to your source, to create that well-worn path to the source of your being. That's what the mission of the day is about. Now, the other mission, same mission again, it's the spiritual practice of self-care, okay? That's one of mine. The spiritual practice of self-care. Do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. Big, small, one thing, three things, all the things. In the end, that's my goal. That everything you do for yourself and others is loving, kind, and compassionate, including the hard stuff. Because if we're going to do the hard stuff, what better way to do them than lovingly, kindly, and compassionately? You are your own best test subject, but more importantly than that, you deserve your own love, you deserve your own kindness, you deserve your own compassion. Practice on yourself. All right, couple of jumping off points. My favorite one is always take a deep breath before you speak. Okay? Give yourself a chance to respond instead of react. For a variety of reasons, two of the most important being, when we react, it's who we've been taught to be. So don't beat yourself up about your first thought. When you respond, that's who you actually are. All right? Give yourself that deep breath. The other thing is it's a whole lot easier to not say something that you don't mean than to make amends later. All right? So the other one is, I like the phrase, take a walk, take a nap, take a break. I literally mean go take a walk. I do my best thinking. Like I got my notes really organized for the service today when I went and took a walk, so that I know what I'm going to talk about. But I also mean it metaphorically. Sometimes we just need to walk away from things. They are not for us. Or sometimes we need to walk into a new situation. Take a nap. Human equivalent of turning ourselves off and turning ourselves back on again. If it works for electronics, it'll work for us. It's also about managing our stress levels. Okay? Super important. Take a break. That's about perspective. Sometimes what we need to do is take a break from whatever it is we're doing. Go do something else. Maybe we need to go play or just go do something else for a while. And then we'll come back with a fresh perspective. While we let our minds rest, solutions naturally arise. Give yourself the opportunity. Take a walk, take a nap, take a break. Okay. In this self-care, I have two other things that are super important to me. One, eat dessert first. Okay? One, yes, chocolate really is, literally is, the first step to fixing anything. Big believer in that. But two, what I learned it meant to me, because within 6 months I lost two people that were pretty important to me. Well, I didn't lose them. I know where they are. But you know what I mean. They made their transitions. Don't save the good stuff. Don't save the good stuff. Write in the fancy notebooks. Burn the fancy candles before they get dusty and don't smell as good as when we bought them. Wear the fancy clothes. You know, don't wait for a special occasion. Make the occasion special. Take an ordinary Tuesday and make it extraordinary. You have that power. All right, beloveds. I also want to remind you that joy is a quality of God. Therefore, joy is a quality of you. I want to remind you that no matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in your life, you still deserve joy. So make room for joy. All right? Okay. The rest of the suggestions are basic self-care. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. Drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. Your brain works better, your body works better, your skin looks better when you're well hydrated. And then get that early in your morning bright light. I got out before the sun was over the horizon, so I did. Although we are getting to that part of the year where the sun's coming up around 6 o'clock in the morning, so soon. And I always enjoy watching this. I like the fact that I get to watch the sunrise at least once a week. So, and I try and make an effort to watch the sunset at least once a week. Okay, and then the last one is my Ernest Holmes quote. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us all the time. That quote means two things to me. It means a lot of things to me, but the two main things, it's all God. Okay? As that quote said, God is home. It's us that take the walk. Okay? It's all God. Break us down to our most fundamental parts. It's all God. We are simply electrons dancing. But it also reminds me that heaven is a mindset. It is a state of mind. Ernest said, heaven is not a locality, okay? It's a mindset. It is a state of mind, a state of consciousness. Once we learn to create it for ourselves, nobody can take it away from us, and any place can become heaven. That right there is what makes it a superpower. You get to be your own superhero. All right, beloveds. The best way to start to work on creating that mindset, take Emma Curtis Hopkins' advice, look for the good and praise it. All right, beloveds. Okay, I'm going to move into the process of my day simply because I'm hungry and I need to go eat because I did go to the gym today. So I'm going to remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I commend them to you. I'm particularly proud of both of the YouTube channels. Between the two YouTube channels, there are thousands of hours of videos. I have almost 5 complete books on mine. So, and I did read this thing called You. If you want you want to audio that, because there was not an audio copy of it, it's on both of the YouTube channels. So feel free to look for that. Okay. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That gets you on the constant contact. 1 email a week, especially because right now our website's under construction. So email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. 1 email a week. Real person doing it. You ain't got time for that. So, okay. I guess I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. A God don't make no junk day. A short prayers pierce heaven day. A know that God is home day. A sunny day. A get stuff done day. A rest day. A silly day. A you got this girl day. You got this guy day. You got this day. A hug somebody tight day, a phone a friend day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You're a beloved child of God. Or as the author gave us earlier, you are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you're godly. All right? Know the truth of your being. Explore the truth of your being, okay? Don't let anybody tell you who you are. All right. Reminder, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. And it's Sunday in 2024. So we're going to have an amazing service for you at 11 a.m. Central Time. So you can come check that out. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.